So, have you ever thought that you missed someone, but it really wasn't them that you missed? It was who you were when you were with them. I did a quick video on this on Instagram some time ago, and it's really stuck with me because when I think about so many different parts of my life where I was on fire, right? I was so happy. I was so excited about life. Those situations were situations that brought online for me the parts of me that I love. And I love learning. One of the things that I really enjoyed years ago was getting into different personality systems, and I've been certified, trained in a couple of them. Some of them you might have heard about. A lot of people know about Myers-Briggs, DISC, maybe Predictive Index, True Colors. There's so many different ones out there. Some newer ones that have more of a spiritual flavor to them. But when I started to understand more about me, it helped me to see, okay, why am I not able to fully express my authentic self in these situations, whether it was in these different organizations, whether it was with these particular people, right? So you start to notice that certain people and certain environments bring out different things around you, different things about you. So when I worked for a nonprofit many years ago, there was a lot of policy in place that we had to follow and that I had to make sure that those on my team were adhering to. So for many years, I think I was there over 5 years, I had to bring out aspects of my personality that were much more structured, organized, disciplined, time-bound, and a lot of also masculine energy it brought out of me. And since I was a leader of the team, I had to ensure that everyone on the team was following, these guidelines, these rules per se. And in other situations, I had the opportunity to have so much flexibility, creativity, autonomy, the part of me that just is creative and likes to build momentum. And so when I compare just in those two different experiences, which is the experience, did I enjoy both? Yes, to some extent in both of them, right? But which is the one that I love the most? Well, it's going to be the one that the core part of me could come out. And in my work, I've mapped out what's called the energetic frequency archetypes. And it's much more than a personality system. It identifies your soul's core essence along with how you manage stress or adapt to stressful situations, so your nervous system patterns, as well as how you energetically relate to other people. So I'm excited. I'll be talking more about this in other podcasts, and I'll be sharing the link to take the quiz so you can identify your own archetype. And once you start to understand more of the parts of you that you love, that you want to come online, you start to become more aware of the environments that bring you life or that drain you. There was a concept many years ago when I was just doing coaching, like more mindset transformation coaching, by a guy named Thomas Leonard, and he created something called the 9 environments. And I really love this concept because the concept was about how your environments will support your success or not. And your environments aren't just like your physical environment. So my office, by the way, is in an environment I love because I love nature. And my office is surrounded by nature. Behind me, what I can see in front of me is just these beautiful trees and just the landscape. It just does so much for my soul, right? So that would be an example of your physical environment. But other environments are your relationships. Your relationships are an environment. Your financials are an environment. Your mindset is an environment. I'm not here to teach you the 9 environments. You can look that up and learn more about that. But when I used to be more involved in that type of work, it really helped me to understand how we can set our environments up for success. But I want to take it to how you can identify if you're in an environment that you should be or you shouldn't be. Because I work with women who are at a crossroads in their love life or in their career. So this crossroads could be, should I stay, should I go? Could be, should I start this new thing or not? Could be, should I put myself out there and try online dating? Should I continue in this relationship? Should I end this thing with a client? Like, whatever these decisions are in our love life and our career can weigh heavy on our mind, and they can also take up space that then shows up in our body, and it messes with our sleep, and it messes with our energy. And so all these things go together, right? Mind, body, spirit, they all go together. So when you start to understand your environments and that everything is an environment that has an influence on you, even the music you listen to. And I love lots of different kinds of music. A dear friend of mine got me into Ludovico. I love that music. I love R&B. But I can listen to R&B and know I have to use discernment depending on my emotional state. Is this music right now? Like, what is it going to activate in me? What energy is it going to activate? Sadness? Is it going to activate sexual energy? I don't know. But I need to be aware of the environment I'm putting myself in and what I want it to activate in me. Because know this, the people you're around, the places you work within, the relationships you have activate certain codes within you. They're going to turn on or turn off certain things you already have inside of you. I was having a conversation with someone very recently. It was very eye-opening for me because I have been much more deliberate in the last few years about my environments, people, my physical environment, right? What I see, what I'm exposing myself to, what I'm listening to, what I'm watching, all of that. I'm always putting myself in the best environments all the time. What I'm saying is I'm aware of the potential consequence of being in that environment. And I'm having this conversation with someone, and this person is very practical, very much into statistics and probability, and I could feel in my body. I was like, what's happening? What is happening? And I couldn't, in the moment, it wasn't registering. And all of a sudden, the thoughts that followed when we got off the call was it really activated the archetype in me, the visionary alchemist, and we'll talk more about that later, but this archetype in me that when it's in shadow can be in worry, in self-doubt, in mental looping, in too much analyzation, right? Over-analyzing. And that's what that person activates in me. And I'm not saying it's always a bad thing, but if I'm in a place where I'm trying to birth something or create something or I'm excited about something and I expose myself to someone that has those traits, it's going to activate the part of me that is going to maybe not want to move forward, right? And I had to notice, whoa, like it was such a contrast because I hadn't been around that particular personality type in a while. And I was glad I was able to catch it and reframe and go back into the other environments that, for me, which are more about possibility versus practicality. And I'm not saying that there's not times to be practical, but my personality thrives in environments of quantum possibilities. There's so many different outcomes that can be had. And depending on your belief in whatever you're doing is the outcome that's going to happen, right? If you're all in your relationship and you're like, no matter what, this is going to work out, especially if you see a lot of gold in it, then the actions you're going to take are going to be in alignment with, we're going to work this out. Like, this is my person. It's very different than when you are in the mindset of, I'm not sure. I'm not all in. So the energy that we come to anything with is going to impact the outcome of the situation. And the people we decide to be around are going to trigger certain aspects of our personality that we might like or we might not like. Also, very recently, I was in a physical environment. I was in a neighborhood that I didn't even know existed in my city because I don't go in that area often. And while I was driving in that neighborhood, I first started thinking about, like, wow, I was actually having a little bit of guilt for a minute. Where I live and taking for granted the things I have, I was able to tap into my own place of gratitude and appreciation. And I wasn't coming from judgment. It was just such a contrast from what I exposed myself to. And I started thinking about, what are the ideas that I would have if I lived in this environment? Like, where would my life be? What would I be working on? What would become if I was tapped into this in this environment, right? It's very different than the environment that I see right now, right? With these beautiful trees and nature. And I'm very deliberate about putting myself in environments that induce creativity, abundant thinking, growth mindset, right? To kind of bring this back, I started with, do you really miss that person? Or do you miss who you were with them? I have a couple different messages, if you can kind of read between the lines that I'm talking about here. When you are in an environment that activates a part of you that you love, you are going to love that environment. And that environment can be a person, that environment can be a place you work at, or the environment could be the people that you're working with, right? People, places, those are all environments. So I want you to think about it. Think about the environments that you have set up in your life. The ones in which you are at for the majority of time. Are they making you feel expansive? Are they making you feel good about yourself? Are they making you feel like you can be fully your authentic expression? So you can be yourself, you can be your best self, you can shoot for the stars. Or do these environments take away your energy? Do they drain you? Do they make you doubt yourself? Do they make you feel bad in any way about some aspect of you? And these are things that you do, for the most part, have control over. Even if you tell me you're related or they're in your home, we do have control over our own boundaries. For the most part, our boundaries, right? I was talking with someone not that long ago about, they were in a situation where they were in a very toxic conversation. And there was the part of them that wanted to please. And so they didn't get up and remove themselves. But if they were to stand for themselves and honor their boundary of, I'm not going to allow someone else's energy that is of lower vibration or toxic to come into my field, to my space. If they would have been stronger in that mindset of that, they would have got up and walked away. But unfortunately, in this situation, at that time, the part of them that wanted to be the good girl, that wanted to please, didn't want to rustle feathers, stayed. And then that then activated within them anger, and then their actions that followed that, they weren't happy about. They didn't feel good about how they then showed up. So that's where we do have control. We do have control over the boundaries that we hold for ourselves, where we put ourselves in, who we choose to work with. Even if you feel like you work in an environment where your boss is a pain in the keister, right? And you feel like you have no control. Is that really true? Are you able to have some boundaries over how you have a conversation, over how long you stay in a conversation, over, do you have control over the fact that you can look at other opportunities, either within the organization or outside the organization? A lot of times when we're really stressed, we feel like we don't have choice, but you always have choice. You always have a choice. And I want to leave you with the idea that your environments are constantly activating versions of you that you either love about yourself or you don't. And you get to decide where you're going to put your vessel, in what environment, that's going to bring online the aspects of you that you love. And then notice the people that you love to be around, right? You either want to activate more of that in yourself to come out, or you love that you can bring that out and be your full self with that person. Be more around people who activate the parts of you that are your best self, that allow you to go beyond where you ever thought you could before, in your work life, in your personal life, in your sexual life, and all these different areas. Because your environments are going to determine the life that you experience. So keep a lookout. I'm going to be dropping some links on the energetic frequency archetype quiz. I'll be talking more about that, but I'm really excited to share with you a way that you can learn more about how you can bring your own self online even more. Go ahead and share this with someone if you feel like it would be helpful. Follow me for more. I'll catch you next time.